Have you ever had a moment where you just stopped and thought, something feels profoundly different within me, but I can't quite explain what it is? Like you're no longer the same person you were a year ago, or even a few months ago. The same people no longer resonate with you, the same habits no longer bring joy, and the world itself begins to feel less solid, almost like a dream you're slowly awakening from. If this sounds familiar, don't be alarmed. You're not broken. You're not lost. In truth, you might be stepping into the final stage of your spiritual awakening. And when this happens, the signs can be unusual. Not frightening, just unusual. Almost as if you're uncovering a hidden self that was always there, waiting to be revealed. In this video here on Quantum Aligned, I want to share 5 of the strangest signs that you've reached the last phase of awakening, and why this is actually a blessing in disguise. Stay with me until the end, because the 5th sign is rarely spoken about, yet it's the one that suddenly makes everything click into place. And before we dive in, don't forget to support this channel with a like and subscribe. It helps Quantum Aligned reach more seekers like you. Let's be honest, awakening isn't always radiant light, blissful peace, or constant good vibes. Much of it is messy, confusing, and at times deeply isolating. But as you journey further, something begins to shift. The storm calms. The inner battle you've carried for so long begins to dissolve. You stop chasing, stop trying to fix what was never truly broken. You start to feel like you're finally becoming real. And the first strange sign of this final stage is something you might already recognize. You stop trying to be spiritual. Strange, isn't it? At the beginning of your journey, you may have sought truth, healing, peace, practices, rituals, meditation, journaling, shadow work. But now they no longer define you. They feel like tools you've outgrown. Why? Because you've realized the search itself was simply guiding you back to what God had already placed within you from the beginning. You no longer need to be spiritual. Life itself has become sacred. Breathing, walking, speaking, connecting, every moment reflects divine presence. To others still chasing techniques, this may seem odd, but you've dropped the chase. Not out of failure, but because you've arrived. Another sign can feel lonely, invisibility. It's not just being ignored, it's like you're unseen. You enter a room and go unnoticed. Old friends no longer call. Social gatherings feel heavier than ever. Yet strangely, it doesn't hurt the way it once did. Why? Because you are slowly dissolving the ego, that fragile identity that constantly demanded validation. Without it, you no longer need to be seen in order to exist. You're not trying to impress, belong, or prove anything. You just are. And in that simple existence, you discover freedom. Invisibility becomes a gift. You can observe life quietly, walk unnoticed, and still feel whole. The less the world sees you, the more clearly you begin to see yourself. One of the most mysterious signs of this stage is the way everything begins to feel unreal, but in a serene, almost dreamlike way. The sky, the walls, the people around you, even your own body, all seem to exist as part of a greater vision. It's not frightening. It's soft, like you're floating within a reality designed by a higher hand. And in this awareness, you stop reacting to every trigger. You stop taking things so personally. You realize that much of life is simply people replaying unconscious stories. And you don't need to be pulled into their storms. Where once you would have been angered, now you smile. Where once you rushed to defend yourself, now you remain still. Why? Because you see with clarity it was never about you. You're awake within the dream, living in the same world but with a transformed presence. Another strange shift is this: you stop planning your life in the rigid ways you used to. The vision boards, the 5-year goals, they suddenly feel shallow. Not because you don't care, but because you sense something deeper guiding your path. You begin trusting the flow of life itself, the divine orchestration that moves everything in perfect rhythm. Decisions arise not from stress, but from silence. You act when it feels right, not because society demands it. And the extraordinary thing is, life starts unfolding in ways you could never have calculated. The right people appear. The right opportunities open. The more you surrender, the more you feel supported, almost as if the Creator himself is aligning the way before you. Others may still chase the rat race, but you've begun walking to the rhythm of eternity. And then comes perhaps the most profound shift of all love. Not just love for a person, or a cause, or even yourself, but love as a presence, flowing through everything. You look at a tree, and your heart expands. You sit in silence, and it feels like an unseen embrace. You walk past strangers, and without effort, you sense both their struggles and their beauty. This love isn't emotional in the usual sense. It is awareness itself, the reflection of God within creation. And here's the most liberating part. You stop needing love to come from outside you, because you become a vessel for it. You are the source. This is the deepest shift of all, when you stop needing love and simply become love. The final stage of awakening is not about being superior, powerful, or enlightened. It's about becoming empty enough to hold space for life itself, to hold love for all that exists, even the parts that once wounded you. And that, my friends, is where awakening leads. It's not an escape from life, but a return to it, aligned with the divine rhythm always guiding us. Stay connected with Quantum Aligned for more explorations like this. And if this resonated with you, remember to like, share, and subscribe, because each click helps this channel grow and helps seekers like you find their way home. Now let's talk about the fifth sign. And this one changes everything. It's the moment you realize you no longer need a grand purpose to validate your existence. I know that sounds unusual because we've been told all our lives to find our purpose. But at this stage, you discover that simply being is more than enough. You could be sitting in a quiet room, doing nothing at all, and still feel more whole than you ever have. You don't need achievements to prove your worth. You're no longer addicted to chasing meaning. Instead, every breath becomes its own sacred purpose. This kind of peace is almost impossible to explain. Others may look at your life and say things like, "You're wasting your potential," or "Why aren't you doing more?" But you smile gently because you've seen what they haven't. You know you're not here to endlessly do, you're here to be. And in that being, you've touched the freedom the world spends centuries searching for. What makes this final stage so fascinating is that nothing about your outer life may appear remarkable. You may not have millions of followers, a flawless relationship, or some celebrated mission. Yet inside, your world is rich, steady, and rooted in a silent connection with God. You're not avoiding life, you're finally immersed in it, fully present, fully aware, fully awake. People who are still in earlier stages of awakening might think you've given up. But in truth, you simply let go. And there's a profound difference. Giving up comes from despair. Letting go comes from trust. Trust in the divine order guiding all things. When you truly trust, there's no need to push or force. You let the current of life carry you. And soon you may notice something else. People start telling you there's something different about you. They can't quite explain it, but they feel calmer around you, safer, more seen. That's because your energy has shifted. You're no longer reacting from old wounds. You're not trying to fix or rescue others. You're simply being. And that state of being radiates peace. Children are drawn to you. Animals approach without fear. Strangers may suddenly open their hearts in your presence. It's not about the words you speak, it's the field you carry. The final stage isn't loud. It isn't flashy. It's soft, quiet, yet unshakably powerful. You also notice that suffering doesn't control you the way it once did. Pain, grief, or confusion may still arise, but they move through you like passing waves instead of drowning you. You no longer identify with them. And that realization is transformative. You understand you are not your thoughts, not your fleeting emotions, not even your body. You are the awareness behind it all, the consciousness God placed within you that remains untouched no matter what happens on the surface. This awareness gives you a quiet strength no one can take away. Sometimes people ask, if I've reached this stage, does that mean I'm done? But awakening isn't a race. It's not about finishing first or collecting answers like trophies. It's more like shedding layers, layer after layer falling away. The final stage doesn't mean you know everything. It means you've stopped needing to know. You've stopped chasing enlightenment as an achievement. Instead, you become humble, open, curious, like a child who doesn't need to control the world, but simply marvels at experiencing it. And that truly is wisdom. So if you're noticing these strange signs, feeling invisible, sensing life like a dream, not needing a purpose, or falling in love with the simplest moments, don't doubt yourself. You're not lost. You're closer to truth than ever. Most never arrive here because it requires surrender, a trust that only comes when you release the illusion of control. But if you've reached this space, it means life has been shaping you for something far deeper than surface-level change. You're not just modifying habits or adopting new beliefs. You're awakening from the false identity you thought you were. And what remains is raw, real, and breathtaking beyond description. So if no one has reminded you lately, I see you. I feel you. And I honor how far you've come. Stay steady. Life may not always be easy, but awakening is the greatest gift you could ever receive. And if you stay with me until this point, maybe it's because your soul already knows you are closer than ever. Thank you for watching Quantum Aligned. If this resonated with you, take a moment to subscribe, and share. Not only does it help this channel grow, but it also helps other seekers find the guidance they may desperately need. Until next time, walk gently, trust deeply, and remember you are never